happiness. You have to find your own. Hope this works. Actually came specifically here on my walk to shoot a video, and I'm thinking it might be too windy. If we give up, you'll know. I made a video recently on my other channel dealing with finding your happiness. It was mostly comparing Filipino attitudes to foreigner attitudes. And I think the biggest difference, and we'll go on to other things, but just to kind of sum up that video, I'll probably link to it down below, but to sum it up, most Americans tend to complain about the things they don't have. Whereas here in the Philippines, they have very little. The poverty here is unbelievable, but they celebrate what they do have. And that's a whole different mindset. That opinion difference makes a huge, huge difference on happiness. And a lot of it, I think, comes to the point that you have to decide to be happy. You have to work at being happy. And when you're dealing with chronic illness, chronic pain, it's just another hurdle you have to get past to find your happiness. And it does complicate matters, sometimes a lot. And I think a lot of it you've got to find inside yourself. You got to find your own happiness, and sometimes you have to make your own happiness. I have mentioned that I let myself get a bit, out of control with the self-pity train, woe is me, isolation, depression, and that gets in the way of happiness a lot. And I made a conscious decision. I took stock in my life and I said, I don't like the way it's going. What can I do about it? And as I've said, there are things you can change, there are things you cannot. And a lot of the issues I had were things in my past. Well, the past is gone. There's nothing you can do about it. Good or bad, whatever, the past is gone. There are parts you celebrate. There are parts you can come to terms with. And there's some you just have to make peace with and go, well, that happened, and move on. Don't hold grudges. Don't stay angry. I mean, you can't change it. Whatever happened, happened. Move on. And when I let go of the past, helped me a lot facing the future. All you really have is today. You've got the present. You make today the best you can. Well, we had to move. Sorry. The sunset was pretty, but boy, was that wind bad. You missed a beautiful sunset, but hopefully the wind will be better here. You can watch the banana trees and mango trees grow instead of watching the sunset. And the neighbors' thump-thump stereos are loud too. But yes, where was I? The main point of that earlier video on my other channel is that you have to work at being happy. You don't just wake up one day and you're happy. And things do not provide happiness. Things can make you more comfortable. Money can make you more comfortable. But you can look at, using America again as an example, look at the politicians, businessmen, various celebrities. They have money, power, influence, and they still have drug and alcohol problems and suicide because they're not happy. They find out that things don't give everything they thought. It can make you more comfortable, but happiness comes from within, and it's something you have to work at. There's a quote I found on a blog, Sweatpants and Coffee, and it sums up an attitude I already had, and it took me a while to get this attitude, and I will put the quote up. Basically, it goes on about you do the best with what you have. It's kind of like you take the good with the bad and you help others along the way. Now, I started this a long time ago. I just found this quote a week ago, but it sums it up better than I could have said it. I worked very hard at changing my life to be happy. I took stock in my life. I looked at things. I said, this part's good, this part's bad, this I can change, this I can't change, which you have to understand. There are a lot of things you cannot change. How you react to them, how you let it affect your life makes a big difference, and that you can change. We have to deal with the past, present, and the future. And we have to deal with these loud stereos. See, I try to talk about happiness and these stereos are driving me crazy. One of the main things you have to keep in mind, the past, like these stereos, are out of your control. You can't change it. There are things in our past that we just have to deal with. There's the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. I went through and kind of compartmentalized things. There's the good in the past. You want to keep a lot of that because sometimes you need to look back on the good and remember it, you know? Especially when you're dealing with all this chronic pain and illness. Sometimes remembering the good just brings a smile to your face. Don't dwell on it, but remember it. There are some bad things in the past that you can learn a lesson from and move on. And there's some you just have to shrug and go, yeah, that crap happened, and move on. Just let go. And I was bad at holding on to some problems and anger and issues. And when I learned to let it go, it freed me up to move forward. That was a big, big step. There are a lot of things I can't change. It's in the past, it's done, it's over. I can't change it. They were out of my control when they happened, and they are certainly out of my control when they're gone. It's over. How I let it affect my life is my choice. I know someone who is angry at things that happened 30, 40 years ago, and they're angry at someone who died almost 10 years ago. How can you hold a grudge that long and just go through life just mad all the time, angry about stuff? I've always thought that holding a grudge is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. And in this case, they did die almost 10 years ago. And I know someone that's just still holding on to that anger. And who are they helping? Who are they hurting? You're ruining your own life for nothing. I mean, yeah, there are some things that were bad and you just got to go, well, that happened, and let go. You can try and look at things through the other person's eye and try and empathize a little bit. Don't get into victim blaming. Don't, even say it was an acceptable behavior if it's something really bad. But try and learn from if you can, learn a little from it. Even if it's, don't be such a jerk, like this other person, if it were a jerk to you. But you can't change the past. So accept what you can, deal with it the best you can, and move on. It's really the only thing you can do. And I had a lot of things I had to just let go of. And that was one of the best choices I ever made. And it is a choice. And you may need to talk to friends, family, counselors, whatever it takes to get through some of it. The chronic pain and the illness is very similar. It's one of the biggest steps I made towards happiness was accepting the fact that I have this probably forever. I was angry a long time at my illness because I wanted it to go away. I wanted a normal life. Finally, I had to admit it's not going away. So the next step is, what are you going to do about it? You accept it, you do the best you can with what you have, and you keep smiling. And I mean, it's not like fake it till you make it, but happiness is a choice. And it takes a lot of work. It's not something that is given to you. It is something you work for. And I have. I'm doing rather well. Now here, it's not so bad. There's things that bother me here. No place is perfect. Not having to work has been good for my health. That's the biggest thing here. I never had any particular problems in the US. I rather enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind going back. But right now, money is not, it's just not feasible. I can't work, and I can't live on my very small disability check. So, for me, the best option was find someplace I could live. And it's not perfect, no place is. But you make the best of it. When the stereos get bad, you go in the house, you close your doors, you turn on your own music, and try and ignore it. It works. So, basically, yeah, the past is gone. You cannot change it. So, make the best of it and move on. It's not belittling anything that happened in your past. It's not ignoring anything that happened in your past. It's just not dwelling on it. The future is never here. It's always tomorrow, right? So I don't sweat it too much. You want to plan for the future because you hope to be there. But you live for today. So, I mean, the future, I don't worry about it. What's next year, 10 years, I don't know. I don't care. I do the best I can. I plan for the future because I do hope to be there. You know, at some point you're gone, but you want to be there for a while. But I don't really worry about the future too much. It'll be here. Whether I'm here or not, it will be here. All you really have is the present. You have today. You have right now. Right now, it's loud. Hopefully, not too much of this boom boom is picking up on the speaker, the microphone, whatever. So frustrating. Happy, happy. Yes. George Harrison had a song, Be Here Now. This was not something he made up. There's old teachings, a lot of gurus, various traditions talk about be here now. And that was something I tried to teach my kids. You need to live for now, live for today, enjoy what you have. You take each moment for what it's worth and enjoy it. And that is something you'll see here in the Philippines. And that's why I used that earlier video as an example, because a lot of them don't have much, but they celebrate what they do have instead of stressing over what they don't have. So it's a different outlook, and they're much happier for it. Not glorifying poverty. I would rather not be poor, but you can be rich and unhappy. So you have to live each day for what it is. Enjoy each moment for what it is. And when you're dealing with chronic pain and chronic illness, some days, each day is not so good. And when you have a whole bunch of bad days, kind of makes your outlook for the future go down. So it takes extra work. This all started for me when I was 28, 29, my life was already not perfect. So I can't blame the illness for everything in my life. But it's just something else you got to deal with. It's another stumbling block, it's another bump in this road. If you didn't have this, you'd still have other problems. Because depending on how old you were when your issues started, your life probably wasn't perfect before either. If it was, good for you. Mine wasn't. I had, normal issues like everyone else. This made it worse, but it was not really the cause of everything wrong. And when I came to terms with that, I was able to move forward and deal with this as just another issue among many issues that I had to deal with. There's a Joe Biden quote I just found the other day, and I made a meme out of it and posted it on Facebook because I liked it. It's right there. It basically says, unless you find something more important than yourself, you'll never really be happy. And I think there's a lot of truth in that. I mean, like most people, I am the center of my universe, but you have to find something else too. That's why I do a lot of charity work. My wife and I enjoy doing charity work. We'll do fundraisers, we go out, we donate school supplies, and we do school feedings. Usually we try and do stuff with the kids, donating books, school supplies, food, whatever we can to help out the kids. Certainly not their fault they're poor, but you try and help them, bring them along. You want to always, help out. What is it? Money is like manure. Doesn't do any good unless you spread it around and help young things grow. So we do what we can, and that helps my attitude. I go out and do a fundraiser, which is no fun. There's links down below if you want to donate, by the way. We're trying to collect for school supplies right now. We donate school supplies to an entire school. It only takes about $500. It's actually really fun. It takes days, a whole week of going into the city and shopping and then separating all the supplies out. It's great fun. And when we're done, we feel really good about it. And the kids have school supplies, so they all feel good. You help 150 kids in a day. It's a good thing. And we do things like that because it really helps our attitude. It's almost selfish to help them because I feel so good when I'm done with it. And that, I think, is an important thing. You have to find something to do, something useful, something helpful. I like watching Ellen, and one thing she always says at the end of every episode is, what is it? Is it be nice to each other? I actually forget now, but we don't get whole episodes here. All we get are clips on YouTube that she posts. But there's a lot to that. You find something to do, you help people. So I let go of my past. I try and prepare for the future, but I don't stress over it, and I live for right now. And right now, for me, it's not that bad. It's been pretty good. It was a lot of work. Happiness is not something that is given to you, it's something you work for. If you want it, you work for it, just like anything worth having. It took me a lot of work. It took a lot of time, and I think I've done pretty well at rising above some of my past issues and my illness. I still have the pain every day, and some days I can't get out of bed, but I don't let that get me down. For that day, I'm just in bed. But on my good days, I do what I can, I make the best of it, and overall, I'm still having a happy and productive life. Let's work together and make that next step a good one.